It's easy to think adrenaline junkie, thrill seeker, hanging off airplanes. How can Tom Cruise not be an ESTP personality type? Is that really true though? In today's video, we're going to deep dive into Tom Cruise's real personality patterns to see what actually shows up when we get to know him a little better. So to be fair, in the hours and hours of clips that we watched, we did see loud, consistent, extroverted personality patterns showing up with Tom Cruise.
You know, I wanted to travel the world and fly jets and airplanes and parachutes and jump off buildings and do
what every 4-year-old wants to do.
I know, what every 4-year-old, but I was doing that even earlier.
Tom is not someone that likes to slow things down to process things more internally. Instead, Tom is constantly excited about jumping into action, making things happen, and interacting with the outside world.
Lots to do in the day. I don't have time off. I don't want time off. I want to make movies.
As well, Tom does show signs that he likes exploring and engaging with the outside world in an extroverted sensing way. He was frequently talking about jumping into the full experience, the energy and intensity of the moment, of the now.
I love the feeling of sprinting, the feeling of that wind going past my body and the speed of it. I'm going to climb up with bare feet and I'm going to do it. You know, I just want to be up there. It was a beautiful morning. The sun came up. Then it's just we're in the moment. The camera's rolling. It's there. Every take, it's like, it's now.
But beyond that, there were so many essential ESTP personality patterns that we never really found the more we kept digging deeper. ESTPs, because they lead with the sensing function, one of their strengths is looking at things and describing things in a very grounded, realistic way. They're so naturally good at tuning into the present moment and watching what things are instead of floating off into their heads to speculate about what things could be or could mean. Anyways, this makes it so ESTPs tend to naturally speak with a lot of clarity, with extra concrete descriptions and examples that help fill in the gaps and make things clear.
I drove him home because he doesn't drive. I was playing REO Speedwagon on the radio and I heard sniffling. I looked over and he was crying. He really makes you live the experience of the character. For instance, I get arrested and put in jail. He would have you go through the process of getting arrested, go through the process of getting booked.
Keeping that in mind, let's look at how clear Tom Cruise is here with his descriptions.
This life is kind of an adventure, you know, and has been an adventure in my life in a lot of ways. And that I would imbue it with action. I wanted to do something very elegant. It embraced my interest in terms of motion and how to utilize motion and have a story that engages an audience.
If you closed your eyes and Tom Cruise told you his life had been an adventure and that he was excited to make something with action, motion, and that was elegant, would you have a clear idea of what he was talking about?
Humanity, that's what interests me. You know, when you're looking at life and history and geography and journeys.
Tom talked about things this way all the time, with big picture ideas and concepts he was really excited about, but also often with intuitive gaps or missing details that you would have to fill in with your imagination or guessing.
I mean, it's always, you know, you can always see the truth in people, everything they want, but
this person might be thinking this, or this person was probably thinking this. You can always see the truth in what people want. How do you know that? And he does that all the time. That's a clue for someone at least very comfortable with guessing. One of the things he said even was, my goals are endless, like they don't stop.
What's on the dreams list still?
Still, there's like, what isn't? It's endless. My goals are endless.
If you listen to like a bunch of Tom Cruise clips, what you'll typically hear, at least in every video, will be a theme of planning and goals and preparing.
It takes years of preparation. Obviously, I spent a lot of time training. What are my personal goals? And I made a list of the filmmakers that I wanted to meet. And I was like, I'm going to meet these people. I'm going to interview them. Believe me, I prepare everything.
Tom is not someone that is uncomfortable with planning, with structure and preparation. If anything, that's actually a huge strength of his.
What's going to happen? And I'm just thinking, how do I prepare? How do I prepare something so that we're, you know, every day's game day?
The reason this is especially relevant for anyone still wondering about Tom Cruise being an ESTP is that EP personality types, because they lead with an extroverted perceiving function, extroverted intuition, or extroverted sensing, it's so core to their wiring to enjoy getting rid of some structure so they can open up more options and have more space to explore, play around, and experiment in the moment. This is why EPs are actually the most naturally open and flexible of the different personality types.
But I thought we were supposed to have our hands up. And I thought it'd be cool to put my hand like that. Even though everyone told me it wasn't cool, I was sure that that was cooler than that. And now when I look at it and I'm have to see it all the time. You know what would have been cooler than this?
With EP preferences, in the moment, it can really enjoy experimenting and playing with things in the moment. Whereas when you see with Tom, he's like, yeah, we can experiment and play with the moment, but there's also a lot of planning that we have to think through because we need to see where it goes. We need to see how it actually looks like at the end of it.
The camera was there and there's pipes there, and I was like, guys, I might impale my skull on this pipe. And
In that clip, they were literally telling Ryan, like, this looks better. Like, you should do it like this. There was a should. And he's like, no, let's break that. Let's try doing something different.
Let's break the structure.
Let's break the structure. That's a great example. Let's break the structure and just see what happens. And then later he's like, damn it, I should not have done that. And then you compare that with Tom and it's completely different.
When you look at introverted intuition and introverted sensing, so both perceiving functions, they tend to be more long-term with how they see their experiences or their perspectives. And this is something he says all the time. Like, I'm fine with commitment. I'm fine with sticking to something and then seeing it through.
What do you think you do well?
Commit. I think what I do well is I can commit to something, and what I mean by that is commitment to a piece.
It's not about a wide variety of experiences like extroverted intuition or extroverted sensing. It's about committing to something, an experience that hasn't happened, but he's trying to go towards that.
I want to go there, I want to try that.
I just had dreams, and I would write these goals down. And I'm very much in the present and the future. I want to go to those places. I want to work there, so I want to be there. I was 4 years old when I decided I wanted to make movies, and I wanted to travel the world and meet people from other countries and cultures. And
What every 4-year-old wants to do.
I know, what every 4-year-old, but I was doing that even earlier.
So is he someone that's always in the moment?
No.
He's quite meticulous with his planning, but it's because he can see, well, where is this going to go and how is this actually going to look and what will the end look like?
It's like I have to have a structure which will allow the drama that I want, the humor that I want.
I would say, like, introverted intuition, the amount of times it's a consistent theme for him makes you maybe question, like, is this someone that actually likes extroverted sensing? Or is this someone that likes introverted intuition?
A little bit more.
A little bit more. Yeah.
What's true for you is true for you. Don't compromise your own reality for anyone else. Just because someone says something doesn't mean it's true. I always made my own decisions. Like, I listen to people, I listen to advices, but I hold my own counsel with everything.
It's interesting. Tom does have clips where he does sound like he's using a lot of introverted thinking. It sounds a lot like he's like, I want to think it through for myself. The interesting thing though is that when you look a little closer, a lot of the times when Tom Cruise talks about understanding things for himself, he's actually not talking about introverted thinking, he's talking about introverted intuition. Put more simply, introverted thinking is a decision-making function, whereas introverted intuition is a perceiving function, a way of taking in information. So in the clips that we saw, Tom wasn't going inward to think through his own personal reasons, to do his own thing, or in other words, decide for himself. It's not like he's pushing away from the outside and going, I don't care what you guys think. I'm just doing whatever makes sense to me for my own reasons.
If mom was like, no, this ain't gonna happen, you're not gonna marry her, we all know I'd probably still do it anyway. She has like those other characteristics that I know based on how I am that I look for in like a spouse. Like, you collect all the data points you can and then you make the best decision you can with the information you have.
Instead, Tom talks about going inward to evaluate and understand a specific pattern more in depth for himself.
It's like, I want to know for myself. I want to evaluate things for myself. Evaluate structure for yourself. Like, these things that I really just evaluated for myself, story structure. I got to see it from their point of view and evaluate it. What is that for me?
Do you see how Tom's talking about gathering perspectives, not just doing his own thing for his own personal reasons? When Tom talks about understanding things for himself, he's talking about developing awareness, slowly piecing together the patterns of what might be going on underneath the surface.
Look, if I want to know something, I go and find out. Because I don't talk about things that I don't understand. There's misinformation. No, you see, here's the problem. You don't know the history of psychiatry. I do. Do you know what Adderall is? Do you know Ritalin? All it does is mask the problem. met.
In all these ways, it eventually becomes clear that when Tom pushes back on things sometimes and talks about thinking for himself, he's actually showing a perceiving function, his way of looking at things and taking in information.
With Tom, when he says a lot of why he thinks for himself, it's because he believes that we have a responsibility to people. It's like there is an impact if we're not making right decisions on behalf of people.
I know these are my decisions in everything in my life. It's like I am responsible for it. So
You're here on the Today Show. I think that you should be a little bit more responsible in knowing what it is, because you communicate to people. These drugs are very dangerous. They're mind-altering, and there are ways of doing it without that so that we don't end up in a brave new world.
Instead of consistent EP personality patterns, what we actually kept seeing with Tom Cruise were EJ personality patterns.
Just to expand this a little bit more, when we talk about EJ preferences, we're referring to the fact that they have an extroverted feeling or an extroverted thinking preference in the dominant position. When you have a dominant position that is constantly looking at the outside, checking what are the outside problems, how do we solve the problems outside, this is someone that's generally comfortable with assuming responsibility, taking care of the outside problems and being very attuned to them. And lastly, someone that's doing a lot of things, because that's someone that's like, well, we have to solve a lot of things.
there's so many things that I'm working on for the future. And it's like when I'm not here, I'm really, I spent my morning working on other films and I'm preparing.
I really enjoy working hard. I work 7 days a week. Being on a movie set is a holiday for me. I rarely take vacation.
So I was developing how do we handle the wardrobe with these harnesses and how many different wardrobe sizes do I need. And
one thing he always talks about, again, and it's a theme he keeps going on about, is how much the movie industry is important and we need to keep it alive.
When COVID happened, he took on the responsibility of, oh my gosh, I need to make sure that this Mission Impossible film works out. To save the whole entire movie industry, this is what needs to get done.
So I was calling like, we have to set up the rules, let's make agreements so that we can get back to work. And then I was calling governments and getting agreements with them. And then I was sharing it with the other studios and my friends saying, this is how we're doing it. My crew is gonna get paid during this time. I just kept everybody working.
Now, is that a simple thing to do? It isn't. It's a huge, ambitious thing to do because you have to get a lot of people on board with that and you have to manage a lot of things. So that's not a small feat. When he talks about it though, it's very shoulder shrugging.
And just showing people, look, we can do this. We can do it safely. Let's create whatever rules so that we can move forward. Calling all the theater owners globally that are my friends, said, look, this movie's coming out. Period.
It turns out this is the real reason Tom Cruise is hanging off of airplanes. He's actually excited to do it because he thinks it'll create an amazing experience for people, for the audience, that will get them to the theaters and ultimately support the entire movie industry.
My goal in life is to entertain audiences.
I want to not just say I'm going to try to outdo myself, but going from my knowledge of audiences, how can I engage a broader audience? That's what we try. We just want to entertain you. That really is the purpose.
This is such a fantastic example of why we like doing so much extra research, making these videos, and why we ask so many follow-up questions when we're doing our MBTI Foundations classes. From afar, it's really not obvious these are Tom's perspectives and motivations. It's not until you spend more quality time with someone or give them a chance to share their unique perspectives that these interesting personality patterns start becoming very clear and consistent. The other clear pattern with Tom Cruise is very clear signs for extroverted feeling.
Thank you for being here.
Of course.
Did you just fly in specifically for
Yes.
this? Well, thank you
yes.
very much.
I am here for you.
Thank you so much. And I am here for you.
Oh, fantastic.
I'm also there for the actors. I'm there for the crew. I realized and I know even before I made movies that to lead is to serve.
You came up with the idea.
We. It's always we.
When he's talking about his reasons for doing something, it really goes a lot back to values. Values, 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 people values, taking care of people, honoring people.
I'm all in. I'm all in as a friend, as a coworker.
Thank you very much.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you, sir.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you, sir. It's an honor. Good to see you, sir. Thank you.
The theme of it all is we want to serve and take care of people. And he does that very passionately. That's kind of sometimes why I think he's been misunderstood, is because he really deeply cares about being responsible for people, and sometimes why aren't people as responsible about that as he is.
It's all of us together. It's not just me. Anytime anyone goes, well, your movie on my crew, I'm like, listen, man, you're here, right here with me. Sorry, buddy, but ladies and gentlemen, you are responsible for this also. We're together. We're a team.
But that's very Ethan Hunt of you.
Yeah, I know it is.
Realizing that Tom shows a lot of ENFJ personality preferences. It's sort of funny actually thinking about it, because there are so many times when the cast of Mission Impossible has been like,
I'm starting to think that Tom Cruise is
Ethan Hunt.
Ethan Hunt.
Pull a mask off and it'll be the same face underneath.
and then you watch Mission Impossible and what's Tom doing? He's running around like, I have to save this person. I have to save this person. I can't not save this person. There's only one way to save all the people that I love.
And it's all on me.
Yeah, it's all on you, Tom. All the responsibility is on you. And then he's like, I can't save this person, but I have to save this person.
I'm always like, this doesn't make sense. Like, you just met someone at the airport and now you're like, I'm gonna take care of you. You're not going to die without me. They're my responsibility now. Why?
Yeah.
You're so passionate about that. But I guess looking at it from a type perspective,
there's a lot of funny personality connections in terms of why Tom might really enjoy playing this character, or is like such a natural playing this character that's literally running around trying to do the impossible to save everyone that he cares about. Understanding Tom's real personality preferences is a real way to fully celebrate and appreciate all the things that he brings to the table. I think ESTP, if we just put that on him without thinking, it's like, oh yeah, you're so good at doing crazy experiences and going with whatever. That's not actually Tom Cruise.
Tom does do a lot of stunts, but it would almost do a disservice to why he does them. He does it for the people, to collaborate with his team, to save the movie industry and take care of people.
Thinking about the other ENFJs that you might have in your life, sometimes it can be really taken for granted, all the ways that they sacrifice themselves to create a good experience outside or create something special. And so when you really get to know someone's actual personality type, it's not just for typing someone and giving them some letters. It's actually more about going, whoa, so this is something that you're really passionate about. How can we use personality type to fully appreciate what someone's about, what they're really passionate about, and their unique motivations for doing the things that they are. If you've been feeling unsure about one or two letters in your personality type, if you've been trying to finally understand your cognitive functions, but one or two of them just keep not fully making sense, or if you keep getting feedback about the same stress points and blind spots, and you want to better understand where those personality patterns are coming from and how you can find balance with your specific personality type, I cannot recommend our MBTI Foundations class enough. It's tons of fun, and our 3-step process, you can't find it anywhere else. It's been very carefully refined and developed by Z and I over the past couple years. Z and I would love to help you not only find your best fit personality type, but actually understand it for the first time. If any of that sounds interesting to you, check out my website at learn.ericwin.com. This month, we only have capacity to take on 3 new students, but we would love to get to know you. Again, that's learn.ericwin.com. The website is also where you can find all of our full celebrity analysis videos, join workshops, ask us questions directly, and watch tons of deep dives that have been made exclusively for members over the past couple years. Z and I really care about making you guys just the most clear, practical, high quality MBTI content that we wish we had when we first started. If you've been wanting to dive deeper, all the best stuff, it's on learn.ericwin.com. Thanks so much for watching today. We'll see you guys in the next ones. Bye.